What's going on, class? Noah Frelick here on campus at FGCU at one of the preserves that we have around here. It's nice and peaceful out. You can hear all the critters and creatures making noises, so it's nice to be out here. It's a spot I like to walk by. It's right by the library, so it's pretty cool. So today I'm going to be discussing sustainability in my profession. So the profession I want to do when I'm older and how I could look to be more sustainable in it. So what I want to do when I'm older, or within the next few months, I'm getting a job at a tech sales company. So something I've recognized about this industry, tech sales, is that this industry leaves a huge environmental footprint through energy intensive operations of data centers, constant hardware production, and large scale cloud infrastructure. So that puts me in a unique position to look for ways that I could prevent these things and make this this industry a more sustainable industry than it already is. You know, this whole greening up plan, it begins with education, and I feel like me as the seller, I'm usually the first form of contact between the company and the consumer and the technology they adopt. I'm trying to sell the technology of my company, so it's pretty cool if I'm able to find a way to make it more sustainable for the world, because that not only will help me sell the product, because people obviously like a more sustainable product, that'll also just help the earth as a whole be a more sustainable place. So that means we can advocate for more sustainable options. One of these ways that we could do this is through cloud services powered by renewable energy, so we're not constantly using unreal amounts of energy and just wasting things away. The second thing would be hardware built with recyclable material. So you see, we waste so much stuff nowadays. We're always throwing stuff out, always putting things to waste that we think would never be used again. The cool thing with this is it can be recycled and used for things in this industry that would help us not have as much waste, not have, pollution, trash out in public. This will help us, solve a big problem when it comes to an environmental footprint. And then the third thing would be platforms that support remote collaboration to reduce travel emissions. So another big thing with sales is constant travel, getting on planes, buses, cars. So that all puts out emission, and that leads to a big environmental footprint. And so promoting more Zoom calls, phone calls, virtual meetings would be a big way to reduce the negative impact on the earth of putting out as much emissions as we do on the daily. So we can be leaders in reducing, or I as a salesperson can be leaders in reducing waste through my own sales operations. This could be shifting to more digital things instead of printing everything. Presentations, slides, emails, it's all going to be better than printing out everything, having papers everywhere, because at the end of the day, printing is cutting down trees, and that's not as sustainable for this earth. So moving towards a more digital society, which I think this earth is already going, so that's going to be a good positive. And like I said earlier, limiting travel just through virtual meetings will help decrease our carbon footprint, because you won't be putting out as much emissions. You're meeting online, so it's not as damaging to the earth. And using CRM tools to more efficiently manage outreach. We would reduce resource consumption, or this would reduce resource consumption while also boosting productivity. So with the CRM tactic, it's not requiring you to meet in person as much, and so you can collaborate virtually online. Like I said, it goes back to the traveling thing. You're not putting out emissions into the public. You're not putting a carbon footprint through all these things we use daily: gas, diesel. You see these big semi trucks going on the road, these big buses, and they're putting out so much coal into the earth, and at the end of the day, that's just not sustainable for us, and it's not healthy for the earth as a whole. So I would also, as a sales rep, I could encourage companies to implement sustainable scorecards that sales teams can present to the clients. So these scorecards would transparently share the carbon impact of a product or service, and then I would offer a greener alternative to these products or services. This would differentiate our offerings and encourage our clients to buy from us, because obviously someone's going to want to buy something that's better for the earth as a whole and more sustainable. So if this is the first